What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mars back with another Clash Royale video. And guys, we got a great video for today. I'm going to be taking you through how I just got my second 12-win Classic Challenge. I'll be sharing a few tips on how you can get more wins in Classic Challenges and maybe get your first ever 12-win if you've never gotten one before. But anyways, guys, let's hop into the games right now. As you can see over here, I lost a game to go to 8-2 inside the challenge. And as you can see right here, we found our opponent for the 9th game, and take a look at the deck I'm using, guys. This is the same deck that I used in my last 12-win Classic Challenge video, and it should tell you guys something that I've only gotten 2 12-win Classic Challenges ever, and they were both with this deck right here. The last one I got was a couple months ago, so even through a few different balance changes, this deck is so good. And as you can see, this guy went for a Sparky in the back, so I had to pretty much go in for Royal Hogs on the left, and his Dark Prince countered them, but at least I still got 700 damage, and I made sure to cycle to my Royal Recruits here to defend the Sparky. But at this point, Sparky and Dark Prince, I was thinking Goblin Giant Sparky Rage, and you guys will see it ends up being pretty close to that. But yeah, then the Wizard was a little bit confusing for me. But I was not happy to see that he had a Sparky, a Wizard, and a Dark Prince as his first 3 cards, because those are basically all counters to the Royal Hogs. But he goes in for a mini P.E.K.K.A. giant Wizard push here, and I knew I was in trouble at this point because I didn't have Royal Recruits in cycle. There was pretty much no way I could stop the mini P.E.K.K.A. And it does get that last hit, taking me down to 61 HP on the right. So at this point, guys, I was 8-2, not looking too great right here. But his left tower is down to 1386, and he does need to spend more elixir to counter this Fisherman still, so I used the Heal Spirit there to make sure that the Dark Prince was a little bit weaker. And then I forget, do I even counter this Dark Prince? No, it looks like I tried to pull it back with Royal Hogs, but I kind of missed right there, and he does get a connection on the left tower. So at this point, guys, still not looking great. Luckily, one Royal Hog there survived on the left, and I took him down to 619, but he basically has my right tower dead to rights at this point, and he's done some damage on the left too. So I go in for the 3 Musketeers, and this is pretty much the push to decide the game. My Fisherman is going to pull that Giant in, and he did end up having a Rage, as I suspected from the very beginning, guys. But my Fisherman gets taken out right there, but luckily I'm able to keep the 2 Musketeers alive on the left. And he has to spend some elixir to defend the right. He actually ends up spending 9 elixir right there, so I knew I could go in for Royal Hogs and take his tower. And he still hasn't taken out the other tower yet, still 61 HP, but it looks like the Wizard does actually take that out. So now with 25 seconds remaining, guys, I'm down 2-1 in terms of towers, and I go all out with the 3 Musketeers here on the left. I want to protect them too. I have 4 Musketeers right there, so I Barb Barrel in front. And the Musketeer was still locked on from a while ago, so he's down to 476, but there's only 8 seconds remaining, guys. Fisherman, I'm going all out here for the 3 crown, and he had just not enough elixir to stop those Musketeers. So we get the 3 crown, and that is a common theme with this deck. So there we go, guys. That win got me to 9-2, and I was pretty hyped after getting that win. I still definitely didn't expect the 12 win here, but here we go, hopping into the game for win number 10. And I have a much better starting hand in this game. Anytime you have Fisherman in your starting hand is pretty lucky, and luckily my opponent did end up having a Hog Rider, so this game starts with an easy King Tower activation for me against a Hog Rider deck, and after that, my chances of winning this game went from, say, 50% to probably about 70 or 80% after getting that King Tower activated. But he does end up having Valkyrie and Ice Wizard, so I was still pretty confused at this point. You don't see a lot of Hog Rider decks that have an Ice Wizard. But I'm going to go ahead and let that Ice Wizard lock on there, because it's only going to get like 4 hits. And actually, it only got 3, so even better. And he does have a Tesla, but with the Recruits coming in, I go in for Hogs here, because that is a lot to deal with. And I do drop a Fireball on that Electro Wizard. I made a mistake, though. I Fireballed him back, so he got to just kind of chill by the King Tower and stay alive and get a lot of value. But luckily for me, I still did over 700 damage, or over 600 damage on both of his towers. And as you can see, he's flexing his new Mega Knight emote right there. But we're going to take out that E-Wiz with the Barb Barrel, get 2 hits on his left tower, and easily counter that Hog Rider. So now 1583 and 1587 on his 2 towers, and this is looking pretty great, actually. This is looking much better than the last game was, and yeah, so I guess in the middle of this game, I can share some tips with you guys for how to get 12 wins or how to get more wins in Classic Challenges. First of all, especially if you're running this deck, you have to be patient. You'll see in, you have to be patient in single elixir, I mean. You'll see in game 11 and game 12 how patient I am at the beginning. I'll actually skip through most of single elixir for those 2 games because in both of those games, I think I waited until double elixir to even play a single card. But as you can see, he got a Mega Knight connection right there, but we still defended decently, and we do get the Royal Hogs in front. Actually, the Dark Goblin did get targeted right there, but still a good heal on those Royal Hogs. I don't really know if I get any damage out of this, but I'm finally going to go in for Royal Recruits. So when he is Hog Mega Knight, I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't going in for like Recruits or Musketeers into a Mega Knight. And there we go. The Fisherman actually countered the Hog Rider really well right there. And now I'm going to go in for 3 Musketeers because he has Valkyrie, Mega Knight, Tesla, and those are all great counters to the Royal Hogs. So this was a tough matchup for me, but as you can see, we easily break through there on the left and take that out. And now all I have to do is stop this Mega Knight from getting to my right-hand tower. And that was a big push on the left, taking over half of his King Tower down too. And this was actually a pretty easy win. This is one of the easier wins of this whole challenge, but that got me to 10-2, so let's take a look at the next game. All right, guys, as you can see right here, we're searching for the opponent. This search took a little bit long, but there it goes. Finally, we find somebody. And this is for win number 11. And all right, guys, I decided to skip ahead a little bit in this game because I realized that I didn't play anything yet. But we're getting down to close to double elixir here, and I forget if I even play something here before double elixir, but we're about to get there, so this game should kick off. But basically, as this game actually starts here, I want to share my main tip for this video, which is if you want to get 12 wins in a Classic Challenge and you've never done it before, honestly, I would highly recommend using some deck with the 3 Musketeers. The average player in Clash Royale has trouble dealing with the 3 Musketeers. They also have trouble dealing with the Royal Recruits and the Fishermen, especially if you use them correctly. As you can see, guys, though, this game got off to a very action-packed start. I went in for 3 Musketeers as soon as double elixir hit, and my opponent went in for Lumberjack Balloon at the bridge, and he got 1 hit. So not really the end of the world, but this balloon on the right is looking kind of threatening. I go in for a Fireball there, and then he tried to freeze, but the Dark Goblin had just gotten that last shot off, and that was huge for me. That play kind of turned around this game because then I was able to go in for Royal Hogs in front of my Dark Goblin, and he had to snowball right there, but I still get a great heal on the right. Take a look at that heal on the right side, guys. But still, that maybe wasn't the smartest push on my part because I took him down to in the 700s. And take a look right here, guys. He tries to freeze, but he only hits the Dark Goblin, and he didn't spend enough elixir to counter the Royal Recruits, and so his right tower is down to 123. And all that takes is a Fireball, so I make sure to make him spend some elixir on the left. He had to spend 9 elixir there, I think, to counter those Royal Hogs, and then I cycled back to my Fireball just like that. So that was win number 11. It was a quick game because we didn't play anything until double elixir, but let's hop into the 12th win right now. All right, guys, here we are in the final game, and finding the opponent for this game actually only took a couple seconds. I was kind of surprised, but we give each other the good luck to start the game. But I'm actually going to skip ahead to when we finally play cards because it takes a long time in this game. Alright, guys, so he finally goes in for a Knight with like 2:15 remaining. It was a little bit earlier than I expected him to play something. So at this point, though, I thought he had Ice Bow because he got to 12 wins, or 11 wins, I should say. But then he drops those Skeleton Dragons at the bridge, so I was a little bit surprised. I go in for a Fireball there to hit the Knight and the Skeleton Dragons, and we're exchanging a few emotes here. We both want to get this 12th win really badly, but now I was very confused. I still thought he had X-Bow, though, because he goes in for Archers. Usually when you see Knight and Archers, it's going to be X-Bow like 100% of the time. But that Barb Barrel in the back was also very confusing. I was honestly wondering like if I was even at 12 wins right now, but this ends up being a very good game, and you guys will see. So he goes in for a defensive mortar and a royal delivery, So now I was thinking that he probably had a skeleton barrel, because a lot of times you'll see like a knight, mortar, and a skeleton barrel. But he goes in for the graveyard right here, guys, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did not expect the graveyard at all. But luckily my Dark Goblin stays alive right there and helps out finishing off the graveyard. And Fisherman Heal Spirit, when they don't have a tank for their graveyard, Fisherman Heal Spirit is actually a pretty good way to take care of it. But here we are into double elixir finally. So I go in for Royal Recruits, give him the WoW, because I was not expecting graveyard at all. And then I fireball one archer there. That might have been a little bit of a mistake, and I say oops because I wish I had my fireball for the mortar, because he placed it next to his tower. But I decided to go in for 3 Musketeers in the back, because he can't really go in for a graveyard when you think about it if I do that. But I still hadn't seen a spell from this guy at this point, so I was a little bit confused. I wanted to put the Royal Hogs so that the mortar didn't shoot my 2 Musketeers on the left, but I messed that up. So still not even really the cleanest game from me as of right now, but I go in for Royal Recruits right there, and he goes in for the graveyard, so I make sure to get the Dark Goblin down, and the Dark Goblin's taking care of it. But finally he shows his X Factor card, and it is the freeze right there. So luckily for me, he spent a lot of elixir on the left and only got me down to 1835 with that graveyard push. So then I was able to get a good push on the right and hit those archers with that fireball, taking him down to 2013. But it still wasn't looking like a sure thing at this point at all. He goes in for the mortar in the back again, and I played my Dark Goblin right there, and I think that was a little bit of a mistake. Yeah, he says well played because he has graveyard, and he knows that that's probably my best counter to the graveyard. But I want to get rid of this mortar right away, and I get it to... Actually, I failed again right there. It shot the 2 Musketeers on the left, and I did not want that to happen. But it was pretty clear he was going to go in for a graveyard here at this point. So I go in for Fisherman Heal Spirit and get the Dark Goblin down. And I'm sensing the freeze coming in here at any moment. And it actually is a little bit too late at this point, so he didn't play it there. But I make sure to go in for Royal Hogs so that the mortar misses them, and then fireball the mortar as well. And as you can see right there, we get the Royal Hogs through a little bit for some action on that right tower, taking him down to 1664. But guys, this is still a deadlock of a game. We've both gotten about the same amount of damage, but clearly I'm kind of committed to the right tower at this point. 1664 remaining, so I go in for Royal Hogs there and get a good heal with that Heal Spirit, but unfortunately the mortar took out the Dark Goblin there on the right, so that push ended up getting stalled out. But the 3 Musketeers come down, and he tries to go in for a graveyard into a Musketeer with just Skeleton Dragons and graveyard, and that's not really a smart play, guys. As you can see, I get the recruits down, he freezes, but he misses a few of the recruits and the fishermen, and actually activates my King Tower right there, but it's pretty much the end of the game, so it didn't matter. But at this point, I'm still down about 100 damage, and I use my fireball there on the Skeleton Dragons. But as you can see, a Musketeer locks onto the left, and look at that huge push on the left. He tried to freeze it, but it was just too late, and he overcommitted with Graveyard Freeze, and that got me to 12 wins. As you can see, guys, right here, that game right there got me to 12-2, and I'll keep the video going during the chest opening, but you guys know they don't really give you that much, even if you get 12 wins in a Classic Challenge. But there we go, guys. That was my 12-win Classic Challenge with this deck right here, guys. This deck is honestly so good. It surprises everyone who plays against it because it's such an original deck. And I definitely recommend you guys try this deck out. Sometimes I'll play it in a Classic Challenge and only get like 3 or 4 wins, but I've gotten 12 wins with it twice, so I definitely recommend you guys try it out. But anyways, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's battles. If you made it this far in the video, definitely click that like button and the subscribe button right now. Doing those little things takes like 1 or 2 seconds, but it benefits my channel tremendously, and I really appreciate it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much once again for watching. I hope you guys can get 12 wins if you haven't gotten it before. Try using out this deck if you haven't before. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today's video, and I'll see you in a couple days with another Clash Royale video.